Click the bell icon to never miss any update.
In December 2021, over 11,000 people applied for 15 job openings for the post of peons, drivers, sweepers and watchmen in Madhya Pradesh's Gwalior. A majority of these young unemployed men who came to Gwalior from within the state and also from neighbouring Uttar Pradesh were graduates and postgraduates. This was neither a solo incident nor the only indicator of the rising unemployment across the country. According to the Centre for Monitoring Indian Economy, India's unemployment rate increased by nearly 8% in December 2021. As per the data between September and December 2021, Haryana tops the states in unemployment, clocking 34.1%. Haryana was followed by Rajasthan at 21.1%, Jharkhand at 17.3%, Bihar at 16%, Jammu and Kashmir at 15% and Uttar Pradesh at 4.9%. The state with the lowest unemployment rate is Karnataka at 1.4%. It is followed by Gujarat at 1.6%, Orissa at 1.6% and Chhattisgarh at 2.1% and Telangana at 2.2%. The unemployment rate is defined as the percentage of unemployed persons in the labour force. India's unemployment rate increased to 7.1% in 2020 from 5.3% in 2019 due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which suspended economic activities for a long time, leading to many losing their jobs. The country's unemployment rate reached an all-time high of 23.5% in April 2020. NEWJ's Nidhi Rai spoke to Mahesh Vyas, MD and CEO of CMIE, to decode how big a role the pandemic played in India's alarming unemployment rate and what can Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's Budget 2022 offer to tackle this ever-growing crisis.
The pandemic gave us a big hit. We have recovered largely from the pandemic hit insofar as jobs is concerned, in terms of total number of jobs is concerned. But the structural problems which have an impact upon employment in India continue. So there is no improvement in structural issues like lack of investments, lack of good quality jobs. Those issues remain.
In 2020, India's unemployment rate was the highest among its neighbours, with Bangladesh's unemployment rate standing at 5.3%, followed by Sri Lanka at 4.8% and Pakistan's at 4.6%. India's unemployment rate has been the highest among its neighbours since 2010. As of September 2018, data by the Indian government showed that there were 31 million people without jobs in the country. During the COVID-19 imposed lockdown, the rate of unemployment was the highest in the urban areas, which constituted the most number of red zones due to the coronavirus, which was 29.2% as against 26.6% in rural areas, according to CMIE. In 2021, unemployment rate rose from 6.5% in January to 8.3% in August. India's huge population of over 1.3 billion people is predicted to exceed China's population by the year 2024, and the country's economic growth is unable to keep pace with the speed at which the population is growing, leading to a constantly increasing problem of unemployment in India.
So there is always an attempt by the government at various levels to try and make jobs available. But it's whatever they're doing is obviously not adequate. We do have many schemes. For example, there's a Manrega scheme. So the government does make jobs available through the Manrega, and the government does make jobs available through other schemes as well. There are many schemes of the government at the center and the state level which generate jobs. There's no question on that. The problem is that they are not adequate. So there's too much of delay in the entire process of government jobs becoming available to the large swaths of people. I think this is an issue that requires attention and needs to be sorted out. undoubtedly about that. But there are other complications. The government doesn't have enough resources, or is not able to marshal resources that can employ more people. But I guess these are problems that it should solve.
The government plays a critical role in the recovery of the economy. Reforms and policies like production-linked incentive scheme, support to MSMEs through various schemes, and digitization have been introduced in the last 18 months as a response to the unemployment crisis. Mahesh Vyas says that Sitharaman's budget should empower the private sector in order to enable it to create more employment opportunities.
In every country, the jobs have to be created largely by the private sector. So what the budget can do actually is to create the environment in which private sector feels enthusiastic to go out and invest. It is to create the confidence that investors can create productive capacities in this country where long-term investments will pay out in the long run, and that's what will create sustainable long-term jobs.